Hi, everyone. Coach Sullivan here from MGS Coaching Football. To my subscribers, I thank you. And to those who haven't yet, hope you do. I just completed my 38th year coaching football. I was a defensive coordinator, but over that time frame, I've been an offensive coordinator, a special teams coordinator. I've been a longtime head coach, and all of this at both the collegiate and high school levels. Excuse me. So today, in this presentation, I want to talk to you about one of what we call our pistol games, what that we call me, okay, and I got it illustrated up top versus an 11 personnel set, and then the bottom versus a 10, one back, no tight ends, okay. So first, you can use it versus multiple fronts, but I only have it versus our base 3-4, our base 3-4 front that we call 50, but you can use it with multiple fronts, okay. So the key terms are, first of all, pistol game, which is a two-man pass line stunt. And the key is it's a first level pressure, which means it's going to involve two defenders who are part of the front on the first level. Okay, otherwise, if it involves a second level, then it's a blitz. Okay, so that's an important distinction. The me game, I mean, this is a signal for me. All right, double thumb pointing to me. Two-man pass rush game, but it's opposite the rover. So that makes it easy to make the what we call the lucky Ringo, which is dictates the side the stunt's being executed on. Okay. Then we have what we call outside cage, which is a pass rush landmark. It's an aiming point. And for us, if you have outside cage, it's defined by wherever the quarterback is set up, 2 yards outside of that. Okay, so we keep the quarterback in the cage, and that's determined by where the quarterback sets up. Okay, so I'll get into that as I go through the presentation. Inside cage is the same thing in the sense it's a pass rush lane aiming point. And if you have inside cage, it's the near armpit. Okay, so if I'm rushing from this side, then it's this armpit. If I'm rushing from this side, then it's this armpit. You follow me? And if I'm coming right up the chute, then it's what we call the midline. So there's a pass rush lane aiming point that we use to teach our players where they need to be. You got to give them definition, right? Then the next term we have is what we call the loop. And that's the second in the line, so it's two-man game, right? The second person, and that becomes the read defender, which I will get into, okay? And therefore, whoever is the loop brings in what the sixth and final big term here today called the Buttside rule, which is the read defender of the designated blocker. So in both the top and bottom diagrams, the designated blocker is in red. Okay, and I'll teach you how the looper, the second of the two, it becomes the read defender, and what's meant by the Buttside rule of the designated blocker, who today is the guard in the me pistol game. Okay, so for the protection, the pass blockers, I'll do them in black. I'm not going to get into all the different pass protections, okay? It's not necessary. But specifically, I'm going to get into the designated blocker, the guard. And essentially, the guard will do one of three things. And the Buttside rule for the loop, right, the read defender, it's the same 2 out of the 3. Okay? So again, keep things simple for your kid players up here so they can execute fast with their feet. All right, and then the two, I'm only going to illustrate what the two defenders who are involved in the me game, what they do, and I'll do that in green. All right? So up top, right, it's the me game versus 11 personnel. So over here, you got the tight end is on the left, so that puts the rover on the left. So by rule, right, we execute the me opposite the rover. Okay, so if the rover's left, then this is what we call Ringo, right? Ringo, Ringo, Ringo. Because we teach, obviously the nose is involved on both sides, but we teach both defensive ends how to execute the me game because they're going to, as you'll see, both potentially have to execute it. All right? So these are the two defenders, nose and DN. It's the D end on the call side. So since we are left and right with our defensive line, Ringo is always the stud, Lucky is always the end, right? So the nose, stick B outside cage, stick B outside cage. And this is a pass rush line stunt, but they may execute a running play or a drop play, right, when you call this. So your guys just react as they would, okay, if it were just a straight pass. So first of all, I'm going to have the three pass blockers, not including a running back. So this is first level. We're just going to involve offensive line. Okay. The center pass setting, the tackle pass setting, and then the designated blocker, the guard. So before I even get to the nose sticking and the defensive end is the looper. Okay. So the nose is first. Defensive end is second. The three things that the designated blocker can do are he can block away from your looper. He can block to your looper. He can set what we say even, straight back. So he's not going to turn one way or the other way. He can go straight back. Okay? So now, the nose, right? The nose goes first. Stick B outside cage. So stick is a two-gap move. Okay, I'm not getting into the particular aspects of the step, but it's part of their everyday drills. We do these in a shoot, so they work on staying low, but they literally take a lateral step as if they were shuffling. Boom, boom. It's quick. It's a quick move, and they got their hands up so they can protect themselves. So it's a stick move. Laterally, 1, 2, and then they're working through the inside hip of the tackle. Okay, and as far as I'm going to go for now with the nose, because then I want to talk about the quarterback set so we can show you outside cage 2 yards outside of it, right, near armpit. Okay, so when the ball snapped, the nose is sticking B. The defensive end, what's meant by hard outside step, if it's pass, by doing that, you're selling the speed rush. Okay? And they're executing this versus a pass set or a run blocking scheme. They're executing it no matter what. Okay? So, hard step. It's not a flash. It's a hard step as if they're slanting. So they're gaining ground, gaining depth with that hard step. Boom. And they get their hands ready to defend themselves just in case it were a dry block, right? Which we're not anticipating given the situation down and distance and so forth, following our opponent's tendencies, but you still have to be prepared just in case, okay? So it's a hard step, selling it. The other reason for doing that is timing. You got to give your nose time to stick B, right? So now, since he is second, therefore the looper, therefore the read, what is meant by Buttside, right? Read defender of the designated blocker. Okay, so let me give you the two of the three that the read defender, the looper, the D end in this case is doing. The designated blocker, the guard, is 2 looking in B gap, facing toward the, excuse me, facing toward the defensive end, or straight back, or, excuse me, straight back, okay? I mean, straight, he's facing the guard or facing away. There we go, right? Facing the guard or facing away, okay? That's the easy read. Facing to you, facing away, okay? He's even, straight back, okay? The defensive end, when he's facing away, facing to, even, okay, he's up into what is technically the A gap, okay? So that just got messy real fast. So let me show you how this works. He ends up doing the same thing. Oh, this is dying on me. I got to switch colors. My apologies. There we go. So he's facing him. The read defender now, the defensive end, right? Butt side, technically at the A gap. The read defender is facing away from him. Butt side, technically in the B gap, right? You with me on this? Always gets messy fast. He goes straight back. So let me get the nose in there first. He goes straight back. A gap again. Okay? So when the designated blocker goes straight back or to him, the looper's in A gap. Okay? The looper's in A gap. When it goes away from him, he's in B. So that's what I mean. 2 out of the 3. Okay? To him, straight back, he's in A. Away from him, he's in B. There's the butt side rule. All right? So now let me talk to you about the aiming points. Outside cage, inside cage. So I'm going to go to blue with the quarterback. So quarterback gets the ball. He essentially stays where he started in terms of behind the center. Okay? So now the nose, who's got outside cage, has stuck B. It's a pass. So his initial landmark is roughly 2 yards outside there. So it's in the B gap area. If the quarterback moves that way, he's got to adjust. So we don't lose outside cage, which means contain. Okay? So now, let's say the designated block of the guard is to the looper. So he's up in A gap. So now that near armpit is that armpit. And if the quarterback moves away, so does the armpit. Now the outside cage squeezes. See, we also have pressure coming from over here as well. Okay, so it's a 3-man pressure, and there's potentially a 4th with an inside linebacker at it if we're playing our match quarters. But the aiming points adjust to the quarterback's set. Okay, and so I'm not going to get nearly as messy down here. All right, I promise. So the first thing we'll do is we'll draw the nose. So now, right, lucky, 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 ball snap, stick B, hard outside step. Let's say now the guard's blocking away. Okay? So now the defensive end right there off the B gap. Right there off the B gap. That's the easy one. That's the only one. The only other scenario I'll give you is, let's say that the guard gets caught up with the sticking nose, which can happen on occasion. Okay, that can happen. Buttside, now he's up in the A gap. Right, the one of the two. If he's facing you or if he's even, you're in the A gap. There it is, boom, done. And again, if the quarterback's set, say it's like a little half roll there, that's why the protection's this way. Well, now the nose sticks B, and then it has to recognize that and has to work towards the quarterback. The cage, right, is 2 yards from where the quarterback is. Don't stay out here. It's like I say, the sideline can do the same job, son. Close down the size of the cage for us, please. Okay? Same thing now, the near armpit. If I'm taking a course vertically up here, I have to recognize the set and adjust my course now to the quarterback. Too often you see in pass rush line stunts, defensive line comes clean, but then they don't recognize where the quarterback is, and so it's wasted, and the quarterback steps up and easily completes the throw, or sidesteps just a little bit, easily completes the throw because your defensive lineman didn't adjust their aiming points. Right? The aiming points are dictated by the quarterback. That's the big coaching point here. Okay? So again, the first guy is the old-fashioned penetrator. The second guy is the loop. The loop is the read guy. In me, the designated blocker is the guard. Can you change the designated blocker? The answer is yes. Okay? But when we introduce and install me, the guard is the designated blocker because he's uncovered in our odd front. Right? He's the uncovered guy. Typically, the guy that you're going to read is uncovered, so that when you use multiple fronts, that's where it could potentially change. Okay, it could become the center. All right, it's not usually ever the tackles. So the read blocker is usually the designated blocker. The guy you're going to read is either the guard or the center. Okay, for a point of reference. So as I mentioned in the beginning, if you're a subscriber, I thank you, and if not, I hope you do. But to everyone, if you have any questions at all about this two-man pass rush first level, right, they have to be a part of the front that we call me, please reach out to me at CoachMJSullivan@gmail.com because I would love to talk football with you.